Good morning, my friends. Welcome to our New Testament challenge. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some thoughts and reflections from the first chapter of the book of Philippians. Paul's letters to the churches in Philippi. Philippians chapter 1. So, as always, he starts off with, he said, here's my prayer for you. Apparently, Philippians were doing well, and so there is a prayer of thanksgiving. I am constantly praying with joy for you. And I love this, verse 9. This is my prayer, that your love may overflow more and more with knowledge and full insight, to help you determine what is best, so that in the day of Christ you may be pure and blameless. This is an interesting not juxtaposition, but interesting partnership that we often don't see. He says, I want your love overflow more and more with knowledge and insight. So he's kind of combining the heart and the head together. I want your love to overflow more and more, so you can gain this knowledge and this insight. So you know, obviously, if God is love, the more you know about love, the more you love, the more you will know and gain insights into the will and the purpose of God. He says, I want you to do that so you can determine what's the best thing, and you can decide, how you're going to be prepared for God. So you may be pure and blameless. That's good stuff. He goes on, talks about his present circumstances, where he is. He's in prison, and he says, that's okay. Whichever. God's going to use this to proclaim. He says, actually, this has helped spread the gospel, which is kind of interesting to think about. And then he goes on and he talks about, he says, some people proclaim the gospel for this reason, some people for that reason, some for good reasons, and some for not so good reasons. He said, it doesn't matter. God is able to use their offering to spread the word. And for that, we are thankful. Let's see. I want you to know, beloved, that what has happened to me has actually helped to spread the gospel. I like that. And then he talks about, this is interesting. He says, obviously it sounds like things got a little rough, a little dicey there for him, to the point that he was actually thinking about his death. And he says, there's a part of me that really wants to go ahead and die so I can be with Christ. He says, for me, living is Christ, dying is gain. If I live, I can help you, but if I die, I get to be with Jesus. And so he's really, torn. He says, I still have a purpose here, but there's part of me that really wants to go on, and so I don't have to worry anymore. Don't have to deal with pain anymore. But since I'm here, I'm going to do all I can to help you. Only live your life in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. I love that. Live your life in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for you? Live your life worthy, in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. That's really our purpose in life. To be told on that day when we meet Jesus, well done, good and faithful servant. So what does that look like? What does that mean with what you say, with what you do? What does that mean when you meet people, when you interact with folks? What does that mean when you're making your plans? What does that mean when you go to bed at night? How can you live your life worthy of the gospel in such a way that on the day of judgment, Jesus will look at you and say, well done, good and faithful servant. Amen? Amen. Thanks, my friends. We'll talk to you tomorrow.